Uber and Lyft's phone masking safety feature is at risk due to this robocall bill that they are proposing in Washington. And that's what we're going to be talking about right now. Hey everyone, Chris here from Real Rideshare Stories. If you're new to the channel and you're looking for different things within the rideshare industry, whether it's news, tips and tricks for passengers and drivers, or what actually happens on real rideshare rides, start now by hitting the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. But before we get started, I just want to give a special shout out to Let's Roll Tina, who just became a Patreon member. And I just want to say thank you very much for that. And if anybody else wants to become a Patreon member, you can click the link in the description below, or you could click the link in the description up here. But you could help the channel for as little as $1 a month. So if you feel like you'd like to become a Patreon member, start now by clicking one of the links and becoming a member. Thanks again, Let's Roll Tina. How many phone calls are you getting on a weekly, a monthly, or a yearly basis coming from unwanted people like robocallers or scammers who are spoofing their phone number to make it look like it's a legitimate number, maybe in your local area or where the company that they're trying to impersonate and misrepresent? If you are like most Americans, probably quite a bit, and it's become a major nuisance to pretty much every single person out there. There's been billions of phone calls that are made all of the time from overseas into the US, and a lot of them are scammers or robocallers, and the do not call list does not account for people and phone calls coming from outside the US. It's only US based. Washington is looking at a bill to help curb these phone spoofing abilities and these robocalls and scammers from happening. So they're looking at legislation right now on whether they're going to pass it or not. That's up in the air, but it's supposed to help curb and stop that. If Washington doesn't pass this bill, fear no more, because most carriers are going to adopt certain standards that will severely limit the abilities to spoof phone numbers. So a lot of these phone numbers, these scammers, and that will not be able to call. You'll have a much better understanding of what's coming into your phone and the number that's associated with the phone. So that is pretty interesting, and these carriers are set to adopt these standards in 2020. Not sure exactly when, but 2020 is less than a month away. So we'll be able to see what happens. Now, what about the companies that actually use spoofing for legitimate business purposes? They're going to also be at a loss as well too, because these new standards will not differentiate between whether it's a spoof number coming for a legitimate purpose or if it's a spoof number coming from overseas as a scammer. They're just saying there's going to be no more of that. So what companies use spoofing technology in order for legitimate purposes? And that is Uber and Lyft. Both Uber and Lyft mask phone numbers of passengers calling drivers and drivers calling passengers to protect identity and to protect personal information like their own phone number. So this could have an impact on how Uber and Lyft operate when it comes to making phone calls between drivers and passengers and drivers. If Uber and Lyft do nothing about this and don't change their ways, then yeah, that safety feature could potentially go away because it won't be in line with the new standards that are in place for these calls and call spoofing. So there is a way around this, so don't fear, don't fret yet. They could potentially get the numbers that they're using to be associated with Uber and Lyft itself, and that would mean that they would still be able to continue using this third-party phone number and mask the phone numbers when passengers call drivers and drivers call passengers. Then that way, it will still pop up. So there is some good news. It's just certain things that Uber and Lyft will have to do in order to make sure that this continues. So hopefully they do, because this is a great safety feature all around for both drivers and passengers, where it will protect their phone number from unwanted passengers or drivers who may get their actual phone number. So hopefully they will do that. What are your thoughts behind this? Overall, I kind of like it because there are so many scam callers out there. And I think it's going to help protect people a little bit more, at least being more transparent on what's coming in. Hopefully that's the case. But I also hope that Uber and Lyft do take the opportunities to adjust what they need to adjust so this third-party phone number will continue on. What do you guys think about both of these sides of the coin? Comment below and let me know. All right, that's the end of today's video. Another special shout out to Let's Roll Tina for being a Patreon member. And again, if you want to become a Patreon member, link is in the description below. Also, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications so you'll be notified every time a new video is uploaded, and as well anytime I go live, so you can participate in the live chat and we can have a little bit of fun. And as always, never drink and drive, always tip your drivers, and we'll see you next time.